Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Bala Girivanadari Jaya Jaya Gopi Jana Bala Girivanadari Jaya Yasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Banachari Yamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Bala Girivanadari Jaya Gopi Jana Bala Girivanadari Jasoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jasoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Banachari Jamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parabhajakacharya Asutara Satasi Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, Shri Shri Guru and Shri Guranga. Glories of Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. So today was a special class. Every day is special class. But today is a class as it's described on the list of what's going on each day. It says, Srila Prabhupada's vision on deity worship. Of course, everything we do in this society should be based on Srila Prabhupada's vision. His vision is only one that matters. His opinion is the opinion that matters. Sometimes I hear those things. Devotees will say, in my opinion, I'm there. Who cares for your opinion? We're not interested in anyone's opinions except Srila Prabhupada's opinion. So I'm going to start out with a letter. This letter was 1973. I believe it was in the beginning, January 4th, 1973. And it's a letter to Dhruvananda Prabhu. Dhruvananda was the head pujari of New Dwarka Dham, Los Angeles, California. New Dwarka in 1972, 71, 72, 73 was the world headquarters for ISKCON. So this letter isn't just a letter to one person. This is the letter to the head pujari of ISKCON New Dwarka, which was the world headquarters. I was there with Srila Prabhupada at this time. The whole year of 1973, I traveled with Srila Prabhupada. And I was there when this letter was sent. This letter was sent from the Prabhupada's disciple in New Dwarka to where Srila Prabhupada was staying in New Dwarka. And in this letter, like many letters Srila Prabhupada would get with questions. Prabhupada, if you asked him 10 questions, he would answer your questions in the order that they came. He didn't place this question's more important, this one less important, answer the more important questions first or the more important questions last. He did everything very systematically. His vision, everything systematically. So this letter from the head pujari in Los Angeles, January 4th, 1973. So Prabhupada starts out, your first question. So he's answering the very first question, which happens to be, in most everyone's opinion, the most important question you're going to see here. Your first question, shall Srimati Radharani's feet be showing? The answer is no. They should never be seen. Krishna's feet, however, should be showing. Around that same time, he also got another letter from Parikshit Prabhu. Does anyone know who Parikshit was in our ISKCON society? We should have a course on ISKCON history, I think. We have so many courses, so many retreats for everything. We have courses for everything. How to be a disciple, how to be an initiating guru, how to be a GBC, how to chant your japa, everything. We should have a course on ISKCON history, I think. It would be a very good course. So Parikshit, he was one of the dozen or so artists at Bhaktivedanta Book Trust. These photographs you're looking at, so many photographs you're looking at in Prabhupada's books. I think Nrsingadev, no, that's not by Parikshit. Anyway, he was very expert artist. He also asked Prabhupada, he was doing a painting with Radha and Krishna. He asked Prabhupada the same question. Should Srimati Radharani's feet be showing? He received the very same answer. Never. Never show Srimati Radharani's feet. She's the most chaste person, Srimati Radharani. So that's the first question. Then he goes on, I do not know when I have said to anyone that Krishna should not wear anything black color. So he's asking, can Krishna wear black? Nor I know where I have given any permission to wear black color. But there is no harm if sometimes Krishna dresses in something black. Sometimes in Vrindavan they dress him in black. Next question, answer. Yes, the leaves of Srimati Tulsi Devi may be offered to all Vishnu Tattva expansions of Krishna, including Nityananda and Balaram. So you can see as this goes on, Prabhupada's giving concise answers to questions in deity worship. It's not just a letter to one person wrote him a letter, and sometimes they are. Sometimes letters shouldn't be used to decide what goes on in the entire society. It's a question to one person, an answer to one person. But these are very specific details in deity worship. You may dress Lord Chaitanya in the standard way. The main thing is, do it nicely. Don't make it funny. You understand what that means? Over the years, I've seen some things I would consider funny in the dressing of the deities. Can't think of any examples. We can go over towards the end if anyone have any examples. I've seen them hang handbags on Srimati Radharani's arm. What is this? She's wearing a handbag? She keeping her handbag. Anyway, so these things, this is what Prabhupada's saying. Standard, everything standard way. In the Western countries, Lord Chaitanya should be entirely covered. He should not appear bare-chested. You know this, like in Mayapur and New Davadweep, they'll have him bare-chested. Prabhupada was also bare-chested in Mayapur many times when summertime was there. Also in New Navadweep, which is Hawaii, the very first Panchatattva deities outside of India. They made them right there in Hawaii. Prabhupada was very interesting. At that time, of course, he didn't order some Panchatattva deities from India. He had them make them. They made them with paper mache. They started out just making, according to Prabhupada's letters, he gave diagrams how they should be posed. First he did Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda. And they had to figure out how to do all these things. And they did. And they made them. And Prabhupada was pleased. And then he said, now you can make the other three features. So he turned it from just Gaur Nitai into the Panchatattva. So then they made entire Panchatattva. They had to learn everything they were doing. They remained on the altar for many, many years, till finally they were replaced with deities that were made by fate. The first, what was it, first American theistic exposition, Fate. That museum is still there in Los Angeles. They've just spent another $1 million, I think, updating everything to the latest technology. But that place was there. That was headed up by Bhardaraj Prabhu, another amazing artist. Bhardaraj was influential, going back and forth when Krishna Balaram deities were being made according to Prabhupada's specific instructions. Every deity according to Prabhupada's desire. When it came to deity worship, Srila Prabhupada was involved every stage along the way. Very specific in what he wanted. We have our Krishna Balaram book, in Vrindavan. He showed every offering, what should be on the offering, how many plates should be there, every detail, what to make at every time. Even what to do with the Mahaprasadam afterwards, he gave instructions. So deity worship, we always hear about book distribution. I'll tell more about that later on as well. Most important. Prabhupada, when he used that word most important, it had a slightly different meaning than what, at least in America, we would understand. As soon as you say this is most important, it means everything else is less important. Prabhupada didn't use most important in that way. When he received a letter from one of his sannyasis, GBC sannyasi, who was seeing Prabhupada, hearing Prabhupada, writing letters, even on the Vyasasan, the book distribution, most important service you can do is book distribution. He wasn't doing book distribution. And he wrote Prabhupada, should I stop what I'm doing and just do book distribution? Prabhupada said, yes, book distribution is most important. The worship of the deities is most important. Chanting your rounds, most important. In Krishna consciousness, everything is most important. We don't make those distinctions. We know Prabhupada said, dressing the deity, cleaning the floor, same. Not that, the pujari, he's most important. Everyone else were less than the pujari. No. Everyone performing devotional service. Most important. So yes, bare-chested was also there in Nunavadweep. Now he answers another question. Why are you pouring water over the head of the Radha Krishna deities? The big deities should never be bathed in this way, using water or other things. Rather, they're bathed daily by mantra. Mantra. That's why you see we have the Utsav deities. Today we're doing Abhishek, I think today or tomorrow. The small deities. Not that you're pouring water over big deities. Do you not know these things? See, he's already given all these instructions. But sometimes, as Prabhupada, he coined that word, over-intelligent. Big disease is over-intelligence. My spiritual master gave me an instruction, but I know better. We've seen this over the years. Catastrophe in your spiritual life. As soon as you think you have a better idea, a better opinion than Srila Prabhupada. Under no circumstances shall we bathe the Jagannath deities with anything water or liquid. They should be bathed with mantra also. Now you're asking if Lord Jagannath carries a flute. Why this nonsense question? Why this nonsense question? You're asking me so many concoctions. Another word I heard very often in Los Angeles, New Dwarka, during this time, concoctions. Why? And manufactured nonsense. Don't bother my head in this way anymore. From now on, unless I order you to do something change or in addition, go on with the usual standard way. You manufacture ideas and then I have to waste my time. I've given you everything. What did that say? I've given you everything already. There's no need for you to add anything or change anything. Why you're asking these things? Who is giving you such freedom? The greatest danger to our movement, I'll say that again, the greatest danger to our movement will come when we manufacture and create our own process for worshiping the deities. So don't ask any more new questions. Whatever is going on, follow it just to the exact standard as I has given you. That's all. If someone, you want to get that letter, I'm missing a very important part also at the end. Maybe Vishaka, you can find it. Can someone find it? That letter, which is on January 4th, 1973, a letter to Dhruvananda. There's another little space at the end which is also important to understand. But in the meantime, I think we get the message in deity worship. Srila Prabhupada's vision in deity worship. Everything in our ISKCON society is based on Srila Prabhupada's vision. Didn't want anything changed. And again, this place, New Dwarka, devotees would come to New Dwarka to learn from the head Pujari. You found it? This is the next paragraph. The pujari should operate entirely under the supervision of the temple president and the GBC, not independently. The greatest danger will come when we manufacture and create our own process for worshiping the deities. So don't ask any more now questions. So he's already answered all the questions, what to do, what he wanted. There are other statements he said. As we travel around, we've been talking to some of my god brothers and god sisters who were there with Srila Prabhupada at different times. Malati was one, we just met her a few weeks ago. Trying to think. Vishva, yes. Vishva was one of the head pujaris there in Krishna Balaram Mandir in the beginning, making dresses. Prabhupada said when you made a dress for the deities, it should be so first class, it should last for 30 years, not 30 days. You make some cheap thing, put it on. Everything should be first class. He said he preferred crowns on the deities, not turbans. He said anyone can wear a turban. Anyone here have a turban? I don't see any. In Vrindavan we have some. Oh, there's one turban. See, he wears a turban. But he said if the deities wear a turban, it must be made very opulently. For a Maharaj, for a king. Not just wrap around a cloth, put 1-2 flowers in. Quick. This is one of the things that I saw that were going on in New Dwarka. See, this is the American way. If you look in retail stores all around the world, they've all adopted American systems of selling retail. See everybody with their little mics. Used to call them Madonna mics back in the day. She popularized those mics because they talk to the different salespeople, telling them what to do when a customer comes this way, that way. How to do everything quick. Get the most money as fast as you can. Never mind the consequences afterward. This American style. And this was going on there, American way. One of the things that I'd say frightened Srila Prabhupada, you see, that he became so upset about. He would say, get a headache over, or changing, always changing. He said, changing everything I've given you. He would say, you Americans, you Westerners, always want to change. One thing you see in Vedic culture, if you spend time in India, they go on generation after generation, very content to just do what their father did, what their grandfather did, the one before him, 5 generations, 10 generations. They all stay in their place and they're content. They accept, this is my position in life. This is my thing. Whether it be very opulent, not opulent, they're satisfied with that. But the whole mentality in the West, always got to do more, right? Because you have to increase your sense gratification. In order to increase your sense gratification, you need more money. So whatever you can do to bring in more money. I saw, maybe you know, I was raised Catholic. Within 10 years, between 1960 and 1970, I saw everything. Medivh, we were talking about it just yesterday, how everything changed. I grew up as a young boy, no eating meat on Friday. So they had an idea, eating meat was bad. They dropped that. Every Saturday you had to go confess your sins, which Prabhupada says was nonsense anyway. You go confess and then do the same thing the very next day. And again you confess. But that was there. Every Sunday you had to go to church. All the women wore hats. They had their heads covered. All finished. All the prayers were in Latin, not English. Finished. They got it down to the point you needed to go to Mass once a year, I think, on Christmas Day or Easter or something. Confession once a year. Why? To keep that money coming in, to keep the biggest amount of people coming in. Prabhupada didn't care for that. At the same time, 1972, 1973, he said, let's boil the milk. He didn't say, let's water down the milk. He said, boil it. He said, we want first-class devotees who know what they're doing, understand the philosophy, are fixed in their devotion, chanting their rounds, following the principles. Not open the doors so millions of people can come in and destroy everything I've given you. No, his program was the opposite. Now we have so many devotees, he said, let's boil the milk, get more serious. That was Prabhupada's way. So the crowns. He said, Srimati Radharani, he liked puffy dresses. He put his arms out. You see how she's dressed. The waist is puffy. Nice, what's it called underneath? Nice puffy skirt. What do you call it? Petticoat. Petticoat underneath. Huh? And everything first class. Of course, we know no artificial substances. These things go on to this day. Temples all around the world. Artificial colors, artificial flavors. We just had to deal with temple offering jam. Karmi jam. Head Pujari said, it's coming from a first-class factory in France. What is a first-class factory in France? Everyone eating meat. They're all Brahmins in this factory. We're offering it to the deities. Prabhupada said you can offer the deities ice cream if you make it. Same thing, all these things. Sour cream, yogurt, we make it. Frozen peas. He said never offer frozen peas to the deities. Frozen foods, he says, are garbage. He encourages us to grow everything ourselves. We know that over the years. Our farms. He said, anything you grow on your own, 100 times better than if you buy it in the store. 100 times better, he said. So what we offer the deities, everything we make. Masalas. You don't buy masalas, you make masalas. Prabhupada knew everything contaminated, Kali Yuga. You can't trust anything. In India, he had Madhvisa Prabhu in Australia. He paid his BBT book bill by shipping ghee to India. Because Prabhupada knew the ghee in India was contaminated. You don't know what it is. To this day, no different. Paneer, you buy paneer, they test it. Not even any cheese in it. Oil, milks with this, powder, this thing, whitener, all these things going on. So for deity worship, everything must be first class. So the crowns, he liked crowns. He preferred crowns. But he said, okay, turban, okay, but make them very opulent. Huh? Plastic jewelry. We eliminated, finally, plastic jewelry. Still go, because somebody offers it. They put it up there and they put, oh, we don't want to disappoint. We don't want to disappoint the sponsor giving this. No, disappoint Srila Prabhupada. We don't want to offend the devotees. No, offend Srila Prabhupada. Which offense do we want to make? Who are we? We talk about offending devotees. Who are we talking about? Who's the devotee most important? Not to commit offenses against. Srila Prabhupada. He orchestrated everything. Very few people have any idea what it was like to be with Srila Prabhupada. He made practically your footsteps, how you took them. He was watching them. He told his secretary, he made one adjustment without asking Prabhupada's advice. Prabhupada said, call him. They called him into the room. Prabhupada looked at him. He said, you don't move a pin on my desk from here to here without asking me. That's what it was like. People say, sometimes they'll say Srutakirti's fanatic. I say, yes, I was raised a fanatic by Prabhupada. He was also a fanatic when it came to certain things. He was very much fanatic in how he presented Krishna consciousness to everyone. Didn't want interference from anyone. Once a disciple went to one of his godbrother's temples. He brought Srila Prabhupada's books. So this devotee made an exchange, gave Prabhupada's books to Prabhupada's godbrother. His godbrother gave books, brought them back to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, bring those books back and get my books back. If he didn't buy them, doesn't need them. And we don't require his books. When he heard devotees went to another temple in Mayapur, he called them in. What kind of nonsense is this? He said they're going to think that he's the guru of the Americans. He said, I'm the guru of the Americans. Everyone should know. I'm the guru of the Westerners. Then the devotees, well, Prabhupada, we said like that. We said, okay. He said, if you go there and you tell him, but to go there submissively as if you're following him, not the proper message. So at that time in Los Angeles, headquarters, Prabhupada gave everything. He showed what to put on the plate, how much to put on the plate. Not that the pujari put so much on the plate thinking, well, in a half hour from now, I have to get my share, fellow pujaris have to get their share, so you make like Govardhan Hill on the deity's plate. No, the person. First thing, pujari should understand, Krishna is a person. Srimati Radharani is a person, not statues on the altar, ripping jewelry off in the morning because you only have 1 hour, rip off this, rip off that, stick a pin in, goes across their form. No understanding. See these things to this day going on. And I think, what would Prabhupada do? You can see what he would do. Stop all your concoctions. Stop all your nonsense. Shilavati was one of the head pujaris there in Los Angeles, 1973. And everyone, when I was with Prabhupada, as soon as you walked out of Prabhupada's room, if you walked downstairs, people were there. What did Prabhupada say? What did Prabhupada do? What's Prabhupada wearing? Everything. That was our meditation. Srila Prabhupada. What did he say? How do you cook for him? What does he eat? So I told Shilavati one day how I did Prabhupada's lunch. Of course, I said I bring in his lunch, rice, dal, 1 chapati. Prabhupada always started with chapati. Chapati and dal, chapati, sabji, chapati, bitter melon, one of the first things he would eat. Bitter melon, Corella. Because that aids digestion, even gives you appetite. One of the first things he said to me, don't put too much on my plate, I'll lose my appetite. If I want more, I'll ask for it. Have any of you experienced that? Sometimes they bring you this plate of prasad, so much, it's like for a week. It's going to take me a week to eat all of this. No, little portions. And you want more, you ask. Because whatever you get, you have to finish. Every grain. Prabhupada told one devotee, for every grain of rice you leave on your plate, you take another birth. So I told the head pujari, Shilavati, who was teaching others coming to Los Angeles. She was teaching them. I said, well, I bring in Prabhupada's plate, put it down on the table, everything's there. Sweets are there, salt, lemons there, everything's there on the plate. And 1 chapati, puffed up. If it's not puffed up, don't even bother putting it on his plate. puffed up with a little ghee on the top. What's on the top? Ghee. Everything we cooked in ghee. Never used oil. I was the only person traveling around the world that had mustard oil, a bottle of mustard oil, to massage Prabhupada. He said, oil's for the outside of the body. Ghee is for the inside of the body. Everything. Not huge amounts of ghee, but if you make a choice, it was made in ghee. So I told her what I did. I did that, put his plate down, offer obeisances, run back into wherever the kitchen is around the world. You don't know where you're going to be. Sometimes you're just a few meters away. Sometimes you're across the street in a kitchen. I'd have to run back to the kitchen wearing a gamsha, because I just gave Prabhupada a massage. Roll out another chapati, put it on the tava, put it on the flame, puffs up. Little ghee on the top, put it on the plate, run back into Prabhupada's room, slide it onto his plate, just as he's finishing his first chapati. You offer obeisances, you run back out again. You just keep doing the same thing until he gives you the nod. Then it means he's had enough chapatis, 4, 5, 6. Every time you slide it onto his plate and he pushes it down. Was one of the ecstatic sounds watching Prabhupada pushes chapati, his puffed up chapati down. And every time you offer obeisances, I said in 24-hour days, sometimes 30, 40, 50 times, offering obeisances to Srila Prabhupada. He never once, 2.5 years, said, you reached your quota today. You don't have to offer obeisances anymore. Never said it. You go before him, you offer obeisances. If you're there for more than 15 seconds, you offer obeisances again as you're leaving. Every time. Never said, okay, that's enough. You can never do it enough. So I told her. So a few days go by. She comes up to me one afternoon. She was Mataji. She was good 30 years old, well, 10 years older than me. I'm 21, she's 31. That's like a different generation, you know. She says, Shruta, guess what I'm doing? I said, what are you doing? She says, well, when I bring the plates in to Rukmini Dwarkadish, Gaur Nitai, and the Jagannath, I put one puri on their plate. Then I run back out of into the kitchen. I make another round of puris. I go back in, put the second puri on their plate. Then I go back and make... And I thought, oh no. I had instinctively, from the very first day I was with Prabhupada, I had very good instinct what to do, what not to do. And the instinct was, if you're not told to do it, you don't do it. That's all. You do as you were told. You do. People would ask me sometimes, one of the questions I get over and over, when you cook for Prabhupada, did you offer it? It's a logical question, right? Did you offer it? I'd say yes. I cooked it, put everything on the plate, walked into his room, put it down on the table, and offered it to him. That was it. Who are you going to offer it to? Krishna? Everything, Prabhupada said, goes through the spiritual master, goes through the disciplic succession up to Krishna. There's letters, 3 letters. Same thing he says over and over. You offer to the spiritual master. He offers it to his spiritual master. It goes to Krishna. Not that we're so big we can offer Krishna something. It's not our understanding. But I would just offer it to Prabhupada. He was on a train, Vrindavan, Mathura, the next place. Prabhupada, of course, knew everything going on in Vrindavan. And the same people are selling the same things at the train station. His father sold it before him. He's selling. His son's going to be selling the same thing in the future. So Prabhupada told his disciple, go get kachuris. You can get from this person. He said, cooked in ghee. Very nice, you bring them. We know Prabhupada liked kachori so much. So the devotee once gets the kachoris, brings it in. Prabhupada's sitting in the train, the table's there. He clears the table, Brahminical, right? Puts some water down, wipe everything down, opens up the newspaper thingy, little bag with the kachoris in it, puts them there. Then he gets down on his hands and knees, a dirty train floor. He gets down. Prabhupada said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Well, Prabhupada, I'm offering them." He said, "I'm right here." You understand who Srila Prabhupada is? Try to understand. When he said do something, he knows what Krishna wants. He knows what Srimati Radharani wants. He knows Krishna Balaram, what they like to eat, when they like to eat, how much they like to eat. He knows. If he tells you do something, it's an eternal principle, not something you can adjust, improve upon. Huh? He walked into the kitchen in Los Angeles, and he looked, and there was a big bowl of strawberries back in 1973, very nice fruits, San Joaquin Valley in California. Oh, fruits, everything, they grew so nice. Big red strawberries. Prabhupada looked. So what are these? Girl, brahmacharini in the kitchen and those days. He said, "Oh, they're strawberries, Prabhupada." He said, "Oh," he picked one up. He's ready to put it. She says, "Prabhupada, it's boga." He said, "Oh," throws it in his mouth. He's everything. Everything he did was perfect. You saw him offering artik to Krishna Balaram. He had his kurta on. No, we don't dare do that, which is fine. But he had his kurta on. What are you going to say, Prabhupada? What are you doing with the kurta on the altar? Not bona fide. Everything he did was perfect. So, of course, Shilavati's offering one puri at a time. Nice hot puris to the deities, one at a time, just like the japatis I'm offering to Prabhupada. So, of course, what do? What I always did, go into Prabhupada's room. I said, "Srila Prabhupada," he says, "Shilavati, she asked how you're taking. I told her about the japatis. I said, she's bringing the puris in one at a time to the deities." He said, "No." He said, "Why concocting, always concocting? I showed you what to do. I tell you what to do." He said, "Tell her, don't make any changes. Don't concoct anything. Don't come up with your own method for worshiping the deity." He said, "Just do what I've told you." I said, "Nonsense." So, of course, I went and told her, and she didn't do it anymore. Another time, same place, same going on. They're offering these sweets to the deities. The sweets had some dried fruit, some crushed nuts, and had this puffed rice. If you've been in the West, maybe they even have it here. Quaker oats, puffed rice. Wasn't like Indian kind of puffed rice. This was a different style puffed rice. Put it all together because it was quick and easy, improved deity worship. Give them this sweet. Not like making rasgullas. We were making gulab jamums with kurma last December, January in Govardhan Eco Village. We had to turn off the air conditioners, turn off the fans. He's looking at the temperature in the room, checking the temperature in the ghee. As you put more and more in, make sure the ghee remains at the same. We spent a couple hours. We made, 150 gulab jamums. ISKCON gulab jamums, not pancakes. Half flour, big round pancakes, soaking in some juice. Sugar juice. No, powdered milk, as Prabhupada showed us. Some rose water. He put in some different things for flavorings, but they were regular. You could eat them on Ekadasi, these gulab jamums. That's the gulab jamums we made. Not the simple quickie method, better way, easier way, faster way. Devotion is not about speed. It has nothing to do with being fast. So anyway, these sweets, they're offering it to the deities. Rukmini Dwarkadish. Rukmini Dwarkadish. Huh? In New Dwarka. Dwarka. This is like the most opulent place in the world, Prabhupada said there. Huh? Most opulent deities. So lunchtime, every day, what did I put on Prabhupada's plate? Breakfast, lunch, evening. There would either be gulab jamums, sandesh, rasgulla, burfi. That was it. Maybe a couple other proper sweets. But that was it. But this day, they brought the Maha plate for us, for Prabhupada's entourage, so we also ate the Maha Prasadam from the deities. And I saw these sweets on the plate, so I grabbed them. The deity's plate, Rukmini Dwarkadish's plate. And I bring Prabhupada his lunch, and I put 2 sandesh and 2 of these sweets on the plate. So 4 sweets. Why 4 sweets? Do you know why we offer 4 sweets, not 3? You have so much to learn. You offer 3 to an enemy. You don't offer 3 sweets to a friend, only to an enemy. So 4 sweets have to be there. Never mind you don't need 4 sweets. So I put the 2 sweets and the two concocted sweets. What do we call them? Renegade sweets. Renegade sweets on the plate. And I bring Prabhupada's lunch, and of course, chapati after chapati, he's eating. Then he goes to the next step. He opens up the rice, nice steamed rice, plain white basmati rice, with a little salt, that's all. And he would mix that, everything. You could have taken a video every day, they would look exactly the same, what he did. Exactly the same. That's Krishna consciousness. Every day we do the same thing very happily. Not that we have to change it. I'm bored doing this. I'm bored putting the crowns on the deed. Let me do something different. I'm bored dressing him in this way. Let's do different. Let's upgrade it. There's no upgrades. There's only the grade, A+ grade that Prabhupada gave us. So I put those sweets there. And I'm going back and forth. And there's one delightful video, Prabhupada, in Australia, in Melbourne. You see me bringing him his breakfast. It's one of my favorite videos I've ever seen. And I'm just hovering around him like a little, like a little bee. Do you want this? Should I bring more? Should I do? And Prabhupada just happily eating, picking this plate, that plate. He has like 3 different plates there. Go in, I offer obeisances, go back, come back, offer obeisances, seeing what he wants. What he wants. That's our standard. What he wants. Not what I think he wants. So he gets to the sweets. And of course the sandesh. Prabhupada said sandesh, he said it wasn't even a sweet, it was a tonic. Sometimes 1 o'clock in the morning, he'd ring the bell while he was translating. Say, bring me a sandesh. He would just take a sandesh, go on with his translating work. So he's sitting, he's eating, he said, what are these? Did you make these? I said, no, Prabhupada. He said, what are they? I said, well, they're offering up to the deities. Nonsense, rascals. Why are they concocting everything? He said, why are they changing what I've given you? He said, I've given you all these nice Bengali sweets, he said. He went off, rasgulla, sandesh, gulab jamun. He said, why are they doing this nonsense? Tell them to stop it. Just do what I've given you. Prabhupada's vision, that was the name of this class. Prabhupada's vision on deity worship. This was the vision. Whatever he gave us, sufficient. No adding, no subtracting, just like the philosophy. As it is. Bhagavad Gita, as it is. You don't need to add to it. The deity worship, you don't need to add anything. Have you seen being done when he was here? That's what we do. If you add anything, greatest danger to our society. Greatest danger, he said. That was fast. We have any questions? Yes, Mataji. Okay. It's already 9 o'clock, but we're a couple minutes before 9, but we'll do what we can as long as it's okay with the temple management this morning.
Well, will you tell me? I will do my comment.
So one question or a comment to start, just one.
Okay.
Yes, it's working.
I'm reminded of something when the temple first opened here and Radhanath was installed. Their first pujaris with Mahavijaya, Jesta, Radhanath and myself. And I was making the Mangalarti sweets for the deities at that time. I didn't quite know how to make the rasgullas, so in the ISKCON word is blooped. So I made the rasgullas for the deities and they just didn't turn out right. All the other sweets, all the other Mangalarti sweets were fine. Just the rasgullas, I just didn't know how to do it. I didn't have the knack of doing it, let's put it that way.
Yes.
So the first day when Mahavijaya offered it, he said, well, it's not right, but we'll try again tomorrow. Anyway, the next day, it still didn't turn out. So he called me in and he said, well, I can't offer it to the deities, but if you think it can be offered to the deities, can you eat them? And I mean, it was
rasgullas, well, first of all, rasgullas are difficult.
Very difficult.
Very difficult. More than anything, temperature, everything you do is very, very important. I can tell you one story, New Vrindavan. Also, New Vrindavan, they had so many cows, so many nice milk products, rich milk from Jersey cows. Prabhupada liked the Jersey cows because they had very rich milk. He told them in Mayapur to mate a Jersey cow with a Sarabi cow. Some people now would think that's heresy to do something like that. Anything other than a Sarabi cow is not even a cow in their consideration, But Prabhupada, he said, combine them, which they did in Mayapur. You'll see the combination, this Jersey, Sarabi looking, because he said Jersey's rich in cream, and Sarabi can take the heat. Just like us. Prabhupada, he didn't go to the West and look for Indians. They're the only ones qualified to be devotees. Anyone. When he came here, anyone. Black, white, colored. Didn't matter to Srila Prabhupada. Everyone, if they follow the process according to Rupa Goswami's, qualified. Prabhupada was like that with humans. He was like that with the cows. He didn't say, don't give me this milk. Anyway, they asked him, Prabhupada, can you show us how to make rasgullas? Kirtanananda Swami asked him. Because we're having trouble. Prabhupada said, okay, you prepare the paneer, everything, and call me when it's ready. So they did that, and we're all in the kitchen together. Kirtanananda Swami's there, Kaladri's there, I'm there, Brahmananda Swami, he's there. And Prabhupada made the balls and he puts it in the boiling sugar water. And they turn over. They don't turn over, you help them turn over sometimes. And he's there for like 5-10 minutes and they swell up, that's what they have to do, swell up. Absorb that juice, sugar juice. It was white sugar. So he does that for like 10 minutes or so. Then he looks at Kirtananda, he said, well, first, he's doing it, and he's bobbing them, and he looks at Brahmananda and says, you've half-eaten them. You saw his face looking, you're already enjoying them before they're even offered. And Brahman, he turned all red, He said, you've half-eaten them already. So then a few more minutes he goes, and then he said, you just do like this, another 5-10 minutes, and they're done. And he hands the ladle to Kirtanananda. And Prabhupada leaves the room. Kirtanananda gets the, whatever he called, ladle, and they all shrunk, just like that. The minute Prabhupada left, they all shrank, never to expand again.
No, they don't.
We didn't offer them, but we ate them. because there were still rasgullas, and, you know, like me, they say you're going to make pizza. Even if it's a bad pizza, I'll eat it because it's a pizza in name. You know? So we all ate them. But no, if you burn the milk, you don't offer burnt milk to Krishna. You just put it aside. Everyone else can drink it, but you don't need to put it on the altar, and it's offered as well. But until you do something nicely, you shouldn't be offering it to the deities. And if it's difficult to do, then just do something else. You know, anyone can make burfi, anyone can make sandesh, although it doesn't appear that way when I go to different temples. There's so many different qualities of sandesh are there, because to make it nice takes time. People don't want to spend time. They're all, you know, on a budget, not my job, I'm not getting paid enough to do this. There's so many different reasons they might have. But everything should be first class to offer to the deities. That was the method. But I understand, and I can't tell you how to make a good rasgulla, so...
I mean, I learned later on, but at that time I had to eat up all the rasgullas that didn't turn out right as a lesson. I'm not sure if that was the right lesson, but anyway, that was a lesson. I got to doing it correctly after that. Okay,
any other questions? Or somebody else? Give it to somebody else here.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I wish someday you have the time, and it's through Prabhupada's mercy, you'll write a book so that we can learn all these subtle details. And I read in Aindra's book, Kirtan Revolution, he used to brush the deities with dry tulsi twigs. Is that in keeping with Srila Prabhupada's standard?
No, he brought some things into the deity worship that were definitely not Prabhupada's standard. And we're still battling 40 years later to bring things, only what Prabhupada gave us, especially in Vrindavan, because people see Vrindavan as you know, where to follow. They're doing it in Vrindavan. You know, this last Radhastami was the first time we didn't show Srimati Radharani's lotus feet for the first time in about 30 years. Many people were upset. But as all we have to go on are Prabhupada's instructions. Never show Srimati Radharani's lotus feet. So we brought it back, and many people were happy. Many managers in the temples here and there were also happy, because it's a standard to follow. So it's very important what we do there in Vrindavan for the rest of the society. But there's things we're fighting our way back to just do as Prabhupada told us. Because, as I've seen in Prabhupada talking to me, he knows what Krishna wants. There were 3 times Prabhupada told me give him Rajbhog for lunch. Where's David Deva? I just saw you. Do we need to stop, or? Yes and no, right? Okay, I'll just tell this one last thing. It happened in Mexico City. It happened in Juhu, Prabhupada's office, space of office, Srimati Radha Rasa Bahari, Sri Radha Rasa Bahari. In Mexico City was the first time, it was 1975. Prabhupada was picked up at a limo right from the airplane. He didn't even have to do customs, immigration. It was really nice. We had a police escort. And the sannyasi GBC and the head of the Spanish BBTs in the car with Prabhupada. And I'm in the car with Prabhupada. And he starts telling Srila Prabhupada about all the progress they've made in Spanish BBT, translating his books, different books into Spanish, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, like this and that. It was very encouraging. And he's kind of saying all what he's doing. And Prabhupada was so quiet, which for me it was interesting, because I would have thought he would be saying, very good, continue all these things, but he didn't say anything. Then we get to the temple. And Prabhupada said, bring me the Rajbhog offering for my lunch. And you don't heat it up. I got chastised for, he said it in Juhu, bring me it. So I'm heating it up. Devotee comes in. Prabhupada wants the prasadam. I said, yes, I'm just getting it ready. He goes back, he comes back in 30 seconds. Prabhupada wants it now. I brought it to him. He said, you don't heat the Mahaprasadam. Just honor it. No question of reheating it for your pleasure. But in Mexico City, he asked for the Rajbhog offering after his massage and bathe. And I put it down. You just put the deity plates right on his table. Didn't transfer. Just put the deity plates on his table. This was Prabhupada. Try to understand. Get a little understanding of who he was and what he could do. We can't do these things. He could do it. And he would quietly show you. He didn't make a show. But he would let you see his position in our society. And it happened every time. It was the same process. First thing he would do is grab the puri, which wasn't puffed up, like a cracker, put it in the dal, say, this dal tastes like mud. This puri is no good. Everything you would take, no good. And then I realized why he didn't say anything to the GBC, the head person, sannyasi in that place. You distribute all the books you want. But what are you doing? How are you serving the deity? Huh? All these books are to bring us to the point of understanding how to serve Krishna. You may be translating books, distributing books, but what have you learned? How to take care of the deity. Those two tracks are there simultaneously. You can't get anywhere on one track. You need both sides together. That's our process in Krishna consciousness. This is what Prabhupada showed. He did the same thing in Jew. He never asked for Rajbhog and said, oh, this is very good. Because Krishna, Radha Krishna, you think he's just greeting the deities like us? Nuh-uh. They talk to him. And my theory is they said, go into the kitchen, tell them what to cook. How can we eat what they're making? Too hot, too spoiled. And that's what he would do. He knew right away where to push. What did he say? The last thing I read. The greatest danger in our society is to change what he's given us in deity worship. Greatest danger. So this is our formula. Just do what he's done. No additions, no subtractions, no improvements. Just do as he's given us. Because he knows what Krishna wants. We don't know what Krishna wants. I can't claim that. Oh, I know he wants this. No. Prabhupada knew. And he did it every time. Same thing. Garbage. Dolls, garbage. Anyway, we have to stop here. It's a very big, busy day today. And I hope I gave a little bit of the vision of Srila Prabhupada's in deity worship. Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.